Welcome to another episode of All Things Mac. I'm your host, Jim Fair. Well, I decided to punish myself some more by installing the dreaded Catalina .3, and I did it as an upgrade from High Sierra. And no sooner had I done that when I started to have problems copying files in the Finder. So I'm not really impressed. I'm going to wipe this machine again and take it back to an older version of the OS. I'm going to take this opportunity to update one of my videos on how to install Mac OS over the internet. If you start up with Option Command R, you're booting over the net with the latest and greatest OS Apple supports on your hardware, which in my case would be Catalina, but I don't want Catalina, so I have to go boot over the network with Shift Option Command R. And unfortunately, you don't get any choice about what operating system they give you when you use these two options. So you have less control over the outcome than if you do my other method, which involves creating a USB installer, an external USB installer.
A couple of things I recommend you do before you erase your machine. I would suggest you go into Touch ID if you have a Touch ID sensor and delete your fingerprint. And go into your iCloud, turn it off, and in particular make sure you turn off Find My Mac, because otherwise you're going to be having passwords the whole time you're trying to erase your machine. So, and of course you need a backup. I'll say it again. We're going to erase the whole machine. That includes all of your software, all of your data. So if it's not backed up somewhere, ideally somewhere more than one place, redundancy is the key to keeping your data long term, then you're going to lose it all, right? So now you can either do a shutdown and then come back up again with certain keys held down, or you can do a restart. So I'm going to do the shutdown just to demo it that way. So on the left hand side of your keyboard you go Shift, Option, Command, you hold those down, and then you're holding R and you briefly hit the power button and keep holding these keys down until you see the globe, not the Apple logo. There it is, starting internet recovery. All right, now I'm in an institution doing this with fairly high-speed internet. Most of the students are away for reading week this week, so this is probably going to be a lot faster than it will be for you at home. If you're on the Wi-Fi at home, you'll be asked to possibly choose a Wi-Fi network and enter a Wi-Fi network password. If you're on enterprise Wi-Fi, this isn't going to work. So if you're on an enterprise Wi-Fi system, you're going to need to hook up with Ethernet. So if you have a MacBook Pro, you're going to need an Ethernet adapter so that you can plug Ethernet in. If you're in that situation of having enterprise Wi-Fi as your only option, you could always do a hotspot on your phone, although that would be exceedingly slow, in my humble opinion. So you can see here it says 4 minutes until it's ready. Now when I tried this at home last night, it was said 11 minutes, and then it went back up to 13 minutes, and finally it did finish after quite a long wait. So again, your mileage may vary depending on the speed of your internet connection. Okay, so here is our Mac OS utilities, and you can tell from the icon here that this is Mac OS High Sierra. So step one, we're going to get into disk utility with a double click. Okay, so here we are in disk utility. You can see our solid state drive has got two containers, SSD for the operating system and SSD-data. Yours could be called something similar, or it could be Macintosh HD, Macintosh HD-data. We need to go to this View button and go Show All Devices. Click on the actual mechanism name and click Erase. Now, This is the point of no return. Once we click this erase button, we have completely erased this Mac, and we no longer have an operating system until we can install a new one. So, and all the data is going to be erased here at the same time. So please keep this in mind. You must have a backup before you hit this button. I don't want to see any comments. Oh, gee, I followed your instructions and I lost all my data. What do I do now? Well, you would have to run data recovery before you write anything else to the drive, and you want to boot from another device for that. Let's not even go there, shall we? Okay, so we have successfully erased the drive. You'll notice it only has one container now. And I'm going to close Disk Utility, and I'm going to click Reinstall Mac OS. And here's High Sierra. And again, you don't have a choice about what OS you get. It might be older than you want, and I suggest you just install it. And then if you want to upgrade to an in-between version of Mac OS, like if I wanted to go Mojave, once I have High Sierra running, I can pull down the Mojave installer and upgrade to Mojave, right? Very, very simple. And you don't need that USB external device to create the installer that I talk about in my other video. So this is a simpler method to reinstall Mac OS. We're booting off of Apple servers, and I won't bore you with this whole section of the video. I'm going to stop the recording here, and we'll assume you know how to restore your data from backup. So one thing I should mention about that, if you did a time machine backup inside Catalina, you really don't want to restore applications, because you'll end up with a version of Safari that doesn't work in the older version of Mac OS you're installing. It only works in Catalina, and there's no easy way to get rid of Safari and put in a fresh one. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and fade out.